Hello folks and welcome to another Premodern video. We are going to be trying a classic today, but with a little bit of a twist. I have been enjoying Cabal Therapy quite a bit lately, and we're gonna go back to try a different approach to probably the quintessential Cabal Therapy decks in the Premodern format. We're of course talking about the one, the only, the Rock. So the classic the Rock archetype has looked fairly similar for quite a bit right now. Pernicious Deed, the classic card, Recurring Nightmare, we see some Ravenous Balos, Deranged Hermit, of course, that's the Rock himself, the Rock and his millions. And then we have some Wall of Blossoms, Duress, Cabal Therapy. This is a very, very classic archetype. However, I have been actually very high on this card lately. I realized that Cabal Therapy is a fantastic card, but Ravenous Rats works incredibly well with it, and having Rats, Therapy, and Wall of Blossoms in the same deck is something that is very, very exciting to me. Of course, both Rats and Blossoms combo very, very well with Recurring Nightmare, and then we just get to try out another one of the cards that I have been very interested in lately in Graveborn Muse. This card is very underplayed in my opinion, as I think this may be secretly the best black finisher in the entire format. Scared Shrine is just fantastic. It really surprises me that people have not been trying it in the Rock earlier. And Fires and Furnace is basically in all of my decks. Of course, I have some removal in Vendetta, Smolder, and Diabolic Edict, and of course the one, the only Pernicious Deed, which I think is a fantastic card currently in Premodern. It's just that there's not really any good shells, so this is kind of like my attempt at finding a good shell. Finally, this is another card that may be a little bit of a sleeper. This came actually about when I was in Madison, but I visited Madison, and over there I was with Will and Enchantress aficionado Michael Phillips. And what Mike was doing is he was cutting some number of treated villages for Tainted Wood in an attempt to make the mana in the Rock a little bit better, which is like notably bad mana. It was always one of the deck's biggest weakness. What I decided to do was try Grand Coliseum instead. Obviously, Tainted Wood is, painless black mana when you have a swamp. And in order for that to be the case reliably, you need to play like 12 swamps or something like that. That's so many swamps. So what I decided to do is to go with Grand Coliseum instead. We are cutting down on some treated villages in order to make room for it, and obviously it's a pain source, but I think that it has the potential to be like the missing link that the Rock decks have been craving for all this time. So I have high hopes for this card. I think it may be better than we gave it credit for. In terms of the sideboard, we have like a little bit of everything, as you often have in the Rock decks, with some extra removal in Vendetta and Engineered Plague, of course, Naturalize effects with actual Naturalize and Tranquil Domain, and then Wither the Wretch as a way to continue hurting on those opposing graveyards alongside the Furnace. And then Spike Feeder, Call of the Herd, notably for the burn matchup more than anything else. And finally, a second copy of Dust Bowl. I have been a fan of running an extra copies of Dust Bowl in the sideboard in standstill decks, and I think that the Rock may be another archetype that could benefit for this, so that you are not using your removal spell on manlands, which are otherwise kind of tough for this deck to answer, besides like Pernicious Deed or something. So Dust Bowl can actually be quite valuable in this kind of strategy. So this is the deck we're going to be running through this league. Very excited to give it a shot. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you for the first round. Alright, round number one. This looks exactly like the Rock hand, so we'll keep it. This is pretty clean. Turn 1 Treetop, turn 2 Wall of Blossoms, I guess. Basic Plains, Mother Reference. Do I need to edict this? I don't think I do, actually. I think I'm gonna take this turn to play a wall and pass the turn. I think I can hope to draw into the Pernicious Deed to get rid of this. I think I'm naming Exalted Angel. Seal of Cleansing. I guess I kind of have all the time in the world here. So let's Therapy. And I will name Exalted Angel, I think. Another one to name would be Swords to Plowshares. What do we have here? Swords to Plowshares, Windborn Muse. Oh my god, this is a deck my opponent's got over there. Holy crap. Those are cards. Those are most certainly cards. I could Diabolic Edict this, but my opponent's not doing anything this upcoming turn anyway. Sarah Angel is definitely a choice. Only 2 lands though, so I'm not super concerned about that. I guess I'll just flashback naming for Phyrexian Furnace, sacking the wall, because I want to prevent my opponent from being able to like cantrip. I'm just gonna play a 3-top and pass the turn. Not really concerned about any of my opponent's cards right now. They missed a land drop. This is very good for me for obvious reasons. Another wall is kind of great, not gonna lie. So let's play wall again, see what we draw. Another swamp is not great, but we get to pass the turn here. We may want to edict, but I don't know yet. I guess we don't. We could run these 3-top villages into Swords to Plowshares, but we're getting close to the point where my opponent's gonna need to start discarding. So I think I'm not even gonna run this Baloth. I think I'm just hanging out. They found the land. Let's see what's the best thing they can do. If they play a Morph, I'm gonna have to edict. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit awkward, but I have to do this, because otherwise this Exalted Angel's probably gonna single-handedly destroy me. So there we go. We Vendetta the Angel and we untap. All right, Ravenous Rats is cool. I think I'm gonna actually deploy the Ravenous Baloth here. Discards Decree, and I'm gonna deploy the Baloth here. If my opponent wants to plow it, that if they find the land, that effectively time walks them. Yep. Oh, never mind. They drew an Ancient Tomb. I stand corrected, I guess. Serra Angel's kind of real here, I'm not gonna lie. I need to find something. Another rat is slightly annoying. For my opponent, they discard the Swords to Plowshares. Okay, Baloth is gonna get in there. So now the Angel gets to start swinging. What is this? 4 mana, Windmore Muse. Okay, this is okay. Would love to draw like Graveborn Muse style cards. Recurrent Nightmare would be pretty exciting, actually. We get to start looping Wall of Blossoms. See what we draw. Another rat. Sure. I guess they could have had plow, so I was supposed to attack first. This was a mistake. I should have attacked first. Send the turn back. As soon as we find an answer to this Serra Angel, we should be able to flip the script here. But if we don't, though, it will be a problem in 2 turns. Wall of Blossoms. Okay, give me something. Give me something juicy. Another swamp is not it. Even like Deranged Hermit would have been okay. I guess it wouldn't, because they have this stupid Windborn Muse. Yeah, this is 6 damage. Yep, down to 6 we go. Pernicious Deed. I guess that's exactly good enough. So we're gonna like wipe both boards. I can't attack, never mind. So, yep, that was the last possible turn. So definitely got kind of lucky there. All right, let's clear this board. We just discarded a bunch of 2-for-1s. I guess one of the rats was, my opponent just played their plow, so it wasn't really a 2-for-1. But all right, I mean, I have a 2-turn clock here. Dust Bowl. I think I want to threaten lethal for next turn. It also potentially makes my opponent's Ancient Tomb bad. All right, we connected. Let's see if we get there. Looks like we did. Awesome. Ooh, that would have been a juicy top deck. Game 2. Vendetta looks okay. Phyrexian Furnace does not. Withered Wretch, Engineered Plague. None of my cards really do anything, if I'm being honest. I guess I'm going to be playing some Call of the Herds, but after this Vendetta, even like this Duress kind of sucks. Naturalize. They could have like Mana Rocks and stuff, but I don't think I'm into it. I feel like I even shave the other. Maybe they have like Armageddon or something. I don't know. Like my opponent's playing kind of like an off-meta deck. They could pretty much have whatever. Spike Feeder is, I don't know, potentially doing something. I think I'm just gonna submit here. Notably, we do get kind of owned by Savos Web, so that's something to be aware of, which my opponent could definitely be playing. This hand is so hot if I have a green source. Opponent moves to 6. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Yeah, this hand's better. So keep this. I think I'm gonna bottom the Hermit. Let's keep a bunch of removal. Maybe I should have brought in the Engineered Plagues to deal with my opponent's like decrease. I'm not super concerned by decree though. Turn 1 planes, go. Okay. Ooh, that's a nice pickup. That's a very nice pickup. So now I just need my opponent to play stuff. If they play stuff, I'm gonna be in okay shape. You can just kill pretty much anything. Oh, Wanlander? Yikes. That's rough for them. That's kind of a nice pickup, because I was not going to be using my mana anyway, so getting an ETB tapped land out of the way is pretty nice. Phyrexian Furnace, guess I'm gonna not give them anything to exile, which is pretty funny. Get in there for 3. I don't know how many lands my opponent's playing, but the way they're, based on what I've seen, they should be playing at least 25. Even with the Ancient Tombs, they should be playing at least 25 lands. Okay, so because I drew the Treetop Village, because my opponent could have Swords to Plowshares, they may be incentivized to use it here, just so they can cycle next turn, which means that I can use this turn to play the tapped Treetop. Yeah, so this is fine. And a plow that they use on the Treetop, obviously it's a plow that they don't use on the Graveborn Muse, which is the real price. Okay, they found the Ancient Tomb. So now they're gonna get to play cards. Sabbath's Web, yeah, that one's annoying. As I mentioned earlier, that was a little bit annoying. Alright, so there's a Grand Coliseum and pass the turn. If I were my opponent, I would definitely cycle this Furnace here. They don't. Okay, I'm fine with that. If they play a Morph, I think I'm gonna risk it. I'm just gonna let them keep it. Vendetta. Alright, gonna kill this one. Could have Edicted there. I think that's better. I only take 2 damage. Let's see if this one resolves. I mean, it's gonna resolve. I guess I mean if this one survives. I'm very surprised my opponent did not cycle last turn. City of Traders. Alright, I guess I untap with Muse. It's good for me. Let's draw some cards, shall we? So Diabolic Edict you. Play land. Swing for 3. If they have a second one though, that is a little bit of a beating, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, they make me exile. I could have like scrying for 1. I don't know if that's worth it. Tooth of Ramos. Okay, so they have a bunch of artifacts, but if they don't have an answer to this Muse, this one's gonna take over the game pretty quickly. Shout out to Grand Coliseum not getting got by Sabbath's Web and actually allowing me to cast my Graveborn Muse. Good stuff. Here's 3 damage, and this game looks pretty much over. Even if they have Exalted Angel, I don't think it's enough anymore. Muse already swung for 6 and gave me, yeah, they should have cycled a while ago. So play a Bailoff. And we should be in the clear now. So even if they have Exalted Angel, they can just hardcast it, and then they're gonna lose the game with the trigger on the stack. Enlightened Tutor. Interesting. For Masticore? That's a card. My opponent's deck is super spicy. They should probably not be playing Enlightened Tutor though. That Tutor looks very, very bad here. Now we're gonna get to cash in our Smother. Kill this Mother of Runes. Get to draw 2 cards again. So let's cycle first to see what we find. Wall of Blossoms. I'm just gonna swing with both. My opponent gets a block on the Muse, but they go to 1, which effectively blanks the Ancient Tomb. They're gonna need to discard an upkeep to the Masticore or it dies. So now they go to 1. We get to deploy a second Bailoff, and I guess I might as well play a Wall. And then next turn we get to Skeletal Scrying. So this game looks over to me. Discard the Ancient Tomb, second Sabbath's Web. You got it. There we go. Very nice match. Got very lucky that game 1 to top deck the Deed just in time. So yeah, this matchup looked probably not great for us, but obviously we got lucky with a multi-5 on my opponent, and then they just keep it a 1-lander, right? But that was fun. This deck looks actually kind of interesting. I think I may give it a shot at some point. I'm not sure about the Enlightened Tutor package, but everything else looked at least interesting. See you for the next round. Round number 2. This is a very rocky hand. Let's keep this hand. Not sure what we're up against, but I think I'm willing to go turn 1 Duress. In the blind is gonna give me like an idea of what I need to be ready for. Mulligan to 4 into turn 1 Duress. Matron Ringleader. Okay. This Ravenous Rats is low-key gonna be doing some work. It's a fine pickup. So let's play the Rats. Probably gonna take the Ringleader, I assume. The Carplusen Forest? That's a risky proposition. Okay, on the pile driver. Like super scared of that. I'm going to like sack this right now. Cycle, play a Treetop Village and send the turn back. I mean, if my opponent goes land right now, we may have an actual game going on. Looks like no land. Okay, so now we just go Bailoff into the Range Hermit. Seems decent to me. Yeah, no land drop seals the deal now. So let's serve with the Bailoff. Opponent's gonna take it, and then play Hermit. Send turn back. Opponent concedes. Pretty much a non-game one, but it's alright. So let's bring in Vendetta. Let's cut these Duresses. Bring in the Plagues, Call of the Herd. I guess I might as well get the Spike Feeder. Don't want Furnaces, but like I guess Wither Wretch could be fine. It's just a blocker. I have to cut 4 cards. Probably Skeletal Scrying. I think this card is good though, but being on the draw, I'm not so excited about it. I guess I just got the Withered Wretches. Diabolic seems really medium. Cabal Therapy maybe. I mean, Cabal Therapy can still like snap like a Siege Gang Commander or something. So it's not like horrendous, it's just not very good. I think I'm gonna submit like this. At that point when your opponent just like luckies you on turn 1. But notably, unless you want to be doing, which is kind of like what I liked about the mono black deck that I played not long ago, is the fact that that deck has so many answers to lucky between like the Funeral Charm and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna keep this hand. I'm not like super stoked about this ETB tap land, but I imagine that knowing that I'm on the rock, my opponent is not guaranteed to like mulligan for a turn 1 lucky draw. They do have the turn 1 lucky though. No swamp though. Send the turn back. So now we're going to go for Wall of Blossoms, because I'm very invested in making sure that I hit my land drop. So if we can dodge Rishat and Port, we could be in okay shape. War Chief. We definitely need. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we play the wall. And now we're kind of okay here. Pernicious Deed? Damn. Yeah, this is great. Let's see what my opponent has going on over there. They could play a bunch of pile drivers, which would be a problem. Where's Goblin Goon? Alright, so let's block the Lackey first. They fetch for a mountain, notably. Yeah, we're gonna just play Engineered Plague here. Alternatively, we could go like Rats into Vendetta. No, I'm just gonna Plague here. And now I may have to... No, I'm probably just gonna Vendetta the War Chief anyway. There's Carplus Enforced. I imagine this is going to naturalize my Engineered Plague. Understandable. I may need to chump block though. Actually, I think I can afford to take 6 here. 2 mana, cycle Gem Palm. Alright, that kind of sucks a little bit, but it's not, all hope is not lost yet. So we get to play Ravenous Rats, they discard a land, play out Grand Coliseum, and I'm going to Vendetta this right now so my opponent cannot cast a War Chief. We go down to 3, but if they don't have a hasty threat, this Goblin Goon doesn't do anything. And I guess I can go Recurrent Nightmare. Ugh, they have a hasty threat. Also 4-up, that's literally the best card they could have. And they found a War Chief. Annoying. So now we chomp, and I think we're kind of dead here. Man, if we had dodged the hasty threat there, maybe we could have been okay. Oh, Pyrokinesis. Really? They have Pyrokinesis in their deck? I was not expecting that. Alright, so game 3. This looks fine. I don't think I can do better than this. This matchup honestly does not sound incredible for me. I really wish I had access to the like Infest or something like that. Definitely want to be on the play here. And I guess I'm keeping this. So we're going Treetop into Rat into Plague. We can also deed on 3. Pretty sweet that the Rat actually forces my opponent to interact. Forces my opponent to interact, actually. I crack myself up sometimes. This is good content, in case you were wondering. Opponent on a mole to 5. They do have lucky. I think because I have the Rat here, and I have the Plague and Smother now, I think I'm happy to do this. Because it forces my opponent to have an answer. It forces them into an awkward spot where they have to discard a real card. And also, now if they have an answer to these Ravenous Rats, maybe like Mog Fanatic or something, if they, what's the worst thing that could happen to me? Probably for them to have like Siege Gang, but then I just Plague and I just clear everything out, so it's fine. Okay, Wasteland is a problem though. Now they can go like Mog Fanatic into Wasteland your Black Source. That would be a problem if my opponent were to choose to go for that. Oh, they go for the Incinerator route. Okay, so we're gonna get to clear the board here. I guess not necessarily clear the board, but at least get to do something. Ringleader. The Whiskey. Wow. That's just straight up the worst ringleader I've ever seen. That's awful. That's kind of unreal, unlucky. And now we get to Plague, name Goblin. And now we're in pretty good shape. They do have the Naturalize apparently, okay. I guess we play on. They don't Wasteland. They should Wasteland probably. They don't. Okay. So I'm gonna play Dust Bowl and drop this Pernicious Deed right now. So now this is just gonna sit and play, I guess, and it's gonna make my opponent's development a little bit awkward. Unless obviously the last card in hand is another Naturalize, in which case we play on, but Ringleader attacks. Now's the time to draw something. Okay, they go for the Wasteland. Makes sense, and we Play the rat. It's a nice rat right there. That's a very nice rat. So now my opponent is in a little bit of an awkward spot. So I'm not gonna block, because if I draw Recurrent Nightmare, I can start to do stuff. Drawing lands would be probably the best situation. Perfect. So now we're just gonna probably win the game with a Pernicious Deed in play. I guess it's not like a given that we're gonna win here. My opponent could find like Sharpshooter or something. No, I guess I can just kill Sharpshooter, so it's fine. Mock Fanatic would be very annoying, or Gem Palm. I'm kind of interested in not paying Echo and using my turn to blow up with Dust Bowl, but I feel like it's just too good to do this. I may get blown out by this though. If my opponent has exactly, they need to have exactly, what's his name here? I'm going to attack with everything. The Sharpshooter. If they have Sharpshooter, I lose. I guess I don't lose. I'm forced to spend the turn popping the deed. But the other option was to spend my turn like using Smother to kill the War Chief, as to not get blown out. The opponent cannot attack with everything. Okay, so we just take 6, and then we threaten lethal on the way back, so Goblin Tinker. So Smother the Tinker, and swing for lethal. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that matchup did not look good though. We won, but it did not look good at all. My opponent almost got there in a multi-5, and game 1 obviously was pretty much a non-game, so we got super lucky here. But, you know, we take those, I guess. See you for the next round. Here we go, on to round number 3. Another very rocky hand. I'm into this. We get to the rest, turn 1. We get to take a peek, see what we're playing against. Land Grant. I think I just take the Land Grant here. I don't really care about the Giant Growths. Mono Green Stompy. Bind Dryad. Itching a Giant Growth. Alright, I'll take my 1. There goes the Finhorn Elves. It's a nice pickup, so now we get to cast Ravenous Rats. Pitch Bounty of the Hunt. So still same known cards. I'll take my 1. Do I play the Elder or do I play Deed? Opponent cashes in their damage. Respectable. Wild Dogs. So this is actually a super interesting spot. I think I want to go with the Abimaya Elder, because I think my opponent, I can force my opponent to overextend even further. And we are in a spot where like we can actually like double block. I don't think I'm going to like play this Muse into the Pernicious Deed though. His opponent finds a Land Grant, which is fine. This upcoming turn I'm just going to play Pernicious Deed. Now we have perfect information. My opponent cannot really attack. So, oh, Forest Walk? Never mind, my opponent can definitely attack. Spirit Guide has been played. Man, that's a bunch of creatures. Don't die to Smother. This is clean though. We can just like main phase pop Deed, and yeah, we're just in extremely good shape here. Block there. I guess I might as well save the most amount of damage possible to just take 2, fetch 2 lands. I think I'm taking 1 of each. Recurrent Nightmare. It's a fine pickup. So I think we can do something pretty cool here, which is I wait for my opponent to attack. I see if they do anything. I take 2, and then I pop Deed on my end, on their end step, which effectively means that I get to time walk them. So pop Deed. My opponent did not develop their board or anything, and now that's a card, I guess. So is that better than the Muse? I think so. I think that's better than Muse alongside Recurrent Nightmare. Opponent can cheese out a win still here. If they like Bind Dryad right now, yep, they untap, and they have to go like Pump Spell into Pump Spell into Pump Spell. Here I'm not paying Echo, I'm just going for Recurrent Nightmare, get back Hermit, then I play Nightmare again, swing with everybody, and now we have lethal next turn, and I don't think my opponent can get there now. Take 1, I don't think they have Might of Oaks. Would be funny, but you know, if they had any cards remaining in hand, I would have gone for something else, right? But yeah, if they had 1 more mana, Might of Oaks actually gets me down to 1, still not quite lethal. So let's get back Hermit, draw a couple of lands, and this game is over. Smother the Finhorn Elf, and swing for... I guess my opponent can chump block here? I guess I miscounted. But for 2 mana, there's nothing they can do, so it's okay. I'll accept my fate of having miscounted for 1. Opponent concedes, and we move on to game number 2. So this is definitely a Vendetta matchup, and not a Furnace matchup. Feeder seems fine. I also kind of like Call of the Herd. Question is this a duress matchup? I think we can cut Skeletor's Scrying, but I do want all my removal. I think duress may be better than Cabal Therapy. There's a big if, though. They have a lot of pump spells. Engineer the Plague is quite interesting. I'm definitely more interested in Plague in the play than on the draw. I think Muse is actually just reasonable. Don't care for Naturalize, Tranquil Domain, Wither the Wretch. It's basically just Plague, the one that could be interesting. Dust Bowl also could be interesting. But I think I'm gonna pass. I think, actually on the draw, yeah, on the draw I think I'd rather have Plague than some discard spells. Yeah, that's fine. I feel like my opponent may just get to the board a little bit too quickly for the discard spells to matter. On the play, I think I care more about discard. That's an interesting hand. How much faith do I have? I think I'm gonna keep. So Black Source puts me in really good shape. Rogue Elephant, it's turn 1. So if I find the Black Source, we basically win. Okay, cool. Alright, game over. Oh, alright. We have Engineer Plague against River Boa. Hell yeah. So there comes the Elephant. Opponent actually pitches the Elvish Spirit Guide. And now I just pass the turn. Then we get to Plague on Snake. There you see what I said about the discard spells, huh? Rancor. Sure. So we're taking 7 regardless, basically. So I'm just gonna pump here, just pop here the Elephant. Take 4, down to 10. They have a pump spell. That was a good spot to throw it down. Scavenger Folk. Interesting. Well, do I go for Call of the Herd here? So this means I take 3? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for the Plague named Snake. They get to put the Rancor on the Scavenger Folk, which is not ideal. So we may actually lose here if they have enough pump. Alright, that's a lot of pump. Doesn't do anything, so I'm just gonna put a Call of the Herd into play. And let's see if we can stabilize here. Curse Scroll, missing the land. So we're definitely blocking here. So notably here we can play the Rats. Actually, no, it's no good. I'd rather just flashback the Call of the Herd. So if they find lands, now they may actually whiff on Curse Scroll. Well, otherwise, if I do play the Rats, then my opponent, they can discard the River Boa and they're actually guaranteed to hit. So it's kind of a little bit awkward. Alright, so let's play Spike Feeder. And let's swing for 6. I think, thanks to this Spike Feeder, we may actually be able to win the race here. Super funny with the River Boa Ravenous Rats scenario here. If my opponent points the Curse Scroll at the Spike Feeder, I'm just gonna sack to game 4. Because that just puts me out of reach of being cheesed out by a Curse Scroll. They go face. I'm just gonna gain 1. I guess there was no need to do that because I can always activate this twice. They whiffed. So their hand is Rancor, River Boa, which is kind of awkward with it for their Curse Scroll. Maybe I was not supposed to pitch to activate Feeder there. I think we have successfully stabilized though. Swing in for 7. Now they point at Feeder. So if they point at Feeder, I think I'd rather just move the counter over to the Elephant. Maybe I should have moved it over to the Trampler instead. And now I'd rather have a 1-1. I know that this allows my opponent to do the thing that I said earlier. But now if they're spending their 3 mana to activate Curse Scroll, they literally just lose. So this is totally okay with me. So now we swing with Treetop. And they could have Vine Dryad, I guess. They could have like Vine Dryad. Yeah, they just pack it in. They could have like Vine Dryad, pitch, Rancor into... they do another Boa. Alright, so Engineer Plague, decent. Decent plus against the Stompy deck. 3-0. Alright, here we are with round number 4. This seems like an okay hand. A little bit slow on the draw, but Swamp, Duress. Jig is up. I think I'm going with Grand Coliseum on 1. I think if I draw a land, I'm going to go with Coliseum. Okay, I drew a land, so I'm just going to go with Coliseum so I can potentially cycle this Baron more. So Mono Black versus Black Green. Wasteland. Okay, so we get to replay the previous turn. Wasteland go. Okay. Still unclear what we're playing against here. Another Duress. Take my Therapy. I think I'm playing Rats this turn. Cabal Therapy of my opponent. This is probably going to answer the question for me. They do name Ravenous Rats. Too threatening. Rats too strong. They are destroying my hand, but they're not clocking me. I'm not super worried about it. Zombie Infestation. Okay, so this is actually a Contamination deck. That's a great draw. Let's play it out. Effectively blanks my opponent's potential clock. And play a green source and pass it turn. I mean, unless they play the lock right now, we're in pretty decent shape. They played a land. Very interesting. I think I'm swinging this turn. If they're using a removal spell on my treetop village, that sounds fine with me. 3 cards in hand for opponent. If I get to find the Pernicious Deed at any point, then I think we just straight up win. Putting this card's 2 Innocent Bloods, sure. It's a tough way to go about it. Cabal Therapy, yep, they just have to like throw a bunch of value out the window because they cannot beat this range Kermit, it's just gonna kill them too quickly. Yep. Imagine if I draw a Recurrent Nightmare right now. How incredibly sexy would that be? Oof, that's GG's, my friend. So now what we do is we just play this out and we just don't do anything until we want to. They have no way to remove this, and this effectively blanks my opponent's entire strategy. So they can never lock me out, and yeah, now we have all the time in the world to just slowly swing for 3 a turn. Loving the fact that they can't even get in there because of the Wall of Blossoms. Just locked on every axis. It's pretty funny. Dust Bowl. Might as well play that out. And now we get to double the clock. So this game's gonna be over quick. Maybe they have a removal spell here. Oh, Skeletal Scrying. Alright, Skeletal Scrying actually plays. They're gonna get to trade. They throw a bunch of cards away, and they get to trade with one of my treetop villages, which is a good trade for them. This is like the one turn when I'm not holding up smaller. But they need to leave themselves with basically no cards. Pitching the Skeletal Scrying number 2. I guess that they're not, they just believe that they're not going to have enough time nor life to deploy it. Because that's kind of their best card. Another, they double block. They kill one of the tokens, they kill one of our treetops. They are at 8, notably, Rishadan Port. So I guess we're going to blow that up. Vendetta is a hilarious draw there. One in taps the treetop. That's a mistake. Because like it allows me to like hold up mana. No, it doesn't really matter. Like it's kind of like an irrelevant situation. Because I'm not going to be attacking anyway, but my opponent should have waited until if I were to be making that mistake of attacking with the treetop village, they should have at least waited until I activated. Another holding 2 lands, 2 cards I mean. Another Wall of Blossoms is pretty nice. I'd rather play out the wall. Ooh, that's pretty gas. Do I draw right now? I think so. Just gonna draw 3 here. Because I may find a land, and if I do, I want to play it right away. I didn't. That's fine, whatever. My opponent wants to sack their zombie to Flashback Therapy. Sounds okay with me. There's the land. Now we get to play Ravenous Bailoff. I'm not going to play the other Wall of Blossoms, I don't think. It's going to play the Furnace. My opponent has seen enough. On to game number 2. Let's bring in Tranquil Domain. And this, we like Call of the Herd. We like Wither the Wretch. We like Dust Bowl. So all of these cards are fine. What do we not like? We do not like all of these, especially Vendetta. Diabolic Edict. Smother. I guess I don't want Smother either. Cabal Therapy also seems pretty shitty. Do I care about Plague? Obviously, if I have 2 Plagues, that means no zombies, but does that even matter? I guess I'd rather have, what, like 2 Therapies, 1 Smother? These are just bad cards, but like so is the alternative. Maybe Spike Feeder is reasonable, but they may be some like narrow scenarios where having access to removal spell like Smother can save me against a Contamination lock. Is Therapy good ever? I don't think Therapy is good ever, so I guess I'd rather have access to Smother, and I guess it rests. I feel like we are advantaged in this matchup. Like it definitely feels like we are quite ahead. I mean, the game plan seems put a Pernicious Deed in play. That's it. That's the game. Opponent can't really do anything. This hand looks reasonable. Yeah, I kind of need it. I like this Call of the Herd right here. If opponent has to turn 1 to rest, that sucks for me, but ooh, that's a nice one. That's a very nice one to just have sitting in play. Opponent probably will not have many answers to this besides Powder Keg. And Powder Keg is like a pretty big waste for them. Ooh, this is nice. They attempt to port me, I cycle in response. Oh, so sexy. Ooh, baby. That's good, man. Alright, so we're going to play a swamp and say go. Playing swamp there so we don't get wastelanded, of course. duress. Only one target here, the Call of the Herd. Just not the best thing to duress too, which is nice for us. So we're gonna go ahead and activate Furnace. If they want to cycle, like a Skelter Scry in there, they could have done that, but this is an interesting spot here. I think I'm going to cast the Wall of Blossoms, because now my opponent can start porting my Rishadan port, and then I'm not going to be able to cast this Wall of Blossoms. Unless I find another green source, of course, which I do, so it's fine. But it's like a little bit of a choice there to, you know, put the rats into play instead. But I think I like this. Okay, so they're just gonna Wasteland. I mean, eventually I'm just gonna get to Yavimaya Elder, so Innocent Blood, that's a hard way to go about it. I mean, I guess they kind of have to do it, but that sounds so bad for them. Like, such a bad exchange. Now they get to port me again. I feel like my best throw is what, like basic. Oh, that's a nice one again. My best throw is like basic forest. Okay, that's a basic forest that can get wastelanded. So it's probably like the second best draw there. But this Furnace is just gonna do so much work. Yeah, this matchup sounds horrendous for my opponent. Everything I'm doing is just so bad for them. Sure. Yeah, you get my Ravenous Rats. Yep, there we go. Definitely a good exchange for them, but I don't know if it's a relevant exchange for them. Port me again. If I ever find a second green source, this game is over. If my opponent duresses, I can scrying in response, but I think I'm just gonna draw 3 next turn if I dodge the discard spell. Oh, I forgot I have a Call of the Herd in my graveyard. I totally forgot. Alright, so they give me free reign for a turn. So I'm just gonna cast this Yavimaya Elder. This sounds like a big problem for my opponent. We also get to cast Grand Coliseum here. This Summon Infestation doesn't really do anything here. My opponent cannot keep the lock. Even if they have the Contamination lock, they cannot keep it going because I have this Furnace here, so I'm just safe on kind of every angle. I'm just gonna go Port Go. That's the best I can do. Port, Treat of Village. I think drawing 4 is good enough. Just gonna draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like to draw 4, thank you very much. Dust Bowl was a draw. Oh my god. Now that just feels dirty. I mean, I'm gonna play it out. That's fine. Feel free to block. We found a Nightmare, so we can start looping Wall of Blossoms and Ravenous Rats. That's pretty much the dream. I draw cards, you discard cards. That's awesome. Nether Spirit Contamination were discarded. Okay. Really? Yeah, I'm okay with this. I guess if I sack to draw a card, it's even worse for my opponent. Man, this is just a nightmare for them. I'm gonna let my opponent get their Nether Spirit back. I know it's a little bit weird when I have a Furnace here that I can crack, but if, as long as I said, as long as I have this Furnace here, the only way that I lose this game is if my opponent somehow manages to sneak in the Contamination lock. And as long as this Friction Furnace is in here, they cannot do that. They cannot lock me out. Powder Keg. There we go. So question now is how do we go about this? I'm kind of interested in resolving this Withered Wretch here. We're going to allow that to resolve. And that's a good one. So I think my first order of business is to force the issue on the zombie infestation right here. And I guess the way to do that is actually, is it better to Yavimaya Elder here? No, I can just Rats. So if my opponent wants to infestation, they have to do it now. Then what I do is I play out this Withered Wretch. They discarded this Stopia. Okay, we're gonna play out this Withered Wretch. So I'm obviously quite invested here in not getting locked out. So my opponent cannot realistically play out the Nether Spirit, and now they have a choice with the Powder Keg. And I can still get back at the Wither. Yeah, this is just all sorts of trouble for my opponent. I don't think they have any realistic outs here. Yeah, they just gave up. 6 cards in hand. They're just moving on to better endeavors. Alright, 4-0. This deck has kind of been delivering. Alright, we go on to the 5th round. This hand looks good. You can go turn 1 Coliseum and then go from there. Obviously this is not a deck where you can probably afford to go turn 1 Therapy and hope for the best. Though I will Therapy on turn 2 if my opponent goes like turn 1 Llanowar Elf or something. Because it may be too important to stop a survival of the fittest or something like that. We'll figure out. Basic Island, Black Vice. Okay, so we have many things that we can name here. That's actually kind of a nice pickup. I'm willing to play that one there. My opponent wants to Daces. Obviously, I don't care. If they want to hold up counterspell, that's also fine. And it's not like they can afford to like just jam a Stasis here. City of Traders. Well, good thing. I was not expecting what's happening right now. Let me tell you that much. Okay, these are things that are happening here. So let's play Ravenous Rats. What am I afraid of here? I mean, I can always flashback, so it doesn't matter, but I would like to hit something. So here's Therapy. Tinker, I think, is the safest thing to name. And then we can go from there. Sphere of Resistance, Voltaic Key. Actually, I don't care about any of those cards. Yeah, I literally don't care about any of these cards. But my opponent can deploy them. So I guess I might as well flash it back. I also don't want them to get a bunch of mana with Metalworker because they can actually draw something that matters. So I think I'm just going to flash back and I'm going to name Voltaic Key here. I think that's just really less annoying than the Sphere. Yeah, I'm going to name Voltaic Key. Like it actually has more potential to do something broken, right? Because they can start untapping Metalworker, then they top the Gemasticore, and now I'm actually in trouble, right? Whereas otherwise, we're kind of just okay here. All right, so they have 2 Spheres Resistance, which is okay. Honestly, if I were my opponent, I didn't even know if I would play them, because now they don't have mana anymore. So it is a little bit awkward. So now my spells cost more, and my opponent can tap my land, Smother. Okay, I guess we'll just pass the turn. And next turn, I'm gonna smother the Metalworker, and now they're just locked under their own spheres. Because I can Dust Bowl the Rishadan Port, and then we actually leave them in very bad shape. So this is working out very well for me. This Black Vice not doing anything. So let's cast Smother, and now we will untap, play a land, say go. I think I'm going to Dust Bowl the Port. I'm just gonna Dust Bowl right now, throw in this Landwar Waste, Cabal Therapy. Could actually Therapy ourselves if we wanted to. Ancient Tomb. Interesting. Does that even matter? 5 mana. Is this Tanglewire or something? Tinker. Okay, they did find the Tinker. So they sacrificed the Sphere instead of the Black Vice. I mean, what can they get that matters here? Mishra's Helix? Guess? But now I just kill them with Yavimaya Elder Beats. So this is kind of fine. Like if they spend every turn activating Mishra's Helix, that seems fine to me. I just swing at them a bunch. I guess their goal is to like race me with this Black Vice. But if I ever hit a land drop, then they're in trouble. They tap 3 lands. Okay, I'm just gonna let that go. We hit a land drop there, which is very nice, obviously. And I can Cabal Therapy myself, even, if I feel like I need to. But I think I'd rather just cast another Wall of Blossoms. And we can like potentially Therapy next turn. That's a fine pickup right there. Especially if my opponent's not gonna be tapping Ancient Tomb to do the Helix thing, Tanglewire. Yep, it's totally fine. So now we're gonna tap 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like all of these exchanges are leaving me very far ahead. Maybe I shouldn't have tapped the Elder. Could have afforded to top 2 lands. Okay, tap my land, that's fine. Gonna Recurrent Nightmare. It's 4 mana actually. And I already found my land. Yeah, I'm just gonna sack the Elder here, get my 2 basics, get my opponent's card from hand. I'm totally willing to take a damage here. This is totally fine. Upheaval. Oh, that's a card. Maybe I took 1 too many lands. No, I think 2 lands is fine. Just so I continue hitting land drops. No, but I took out my clock. I should have sacrificed the Wall of Blossoms actually. Just gonna tap my creatures. And I still think I'm not interested in tapping this Ancient Tomb. If they want to tap 5 lands, they tap all my black sources. That sounds okay. I can cast another rat here. This is pretty good actually. We're not hitting land drops anytime soon. Missing land drops, I mean, anytime soon. And this Tanglewire does literally nothing. So I think we kind of have this game locked up now. Another Tanglewire. Still doesn't really do anything. Tap my stuff. I guess this turn I can just tap some painless sources. Because I do need to get this game over with. And tap 1 land, but I can still cast the Recurrent Nightmare here. Probably sacrifice the Wall of Blossoms and get the Yavimaya Elder again. And I have a 2 turn clock. And the turn back. This Tanglewire's not doing much work. One just passes the turn. Tap 1. Both pain sources. I guess they can tap all my black this way. So maybe that was a mistake. Again, they're on a 1 turn clock, so I don't think I'm too concerned about this. 2 turn clock I meant. Yeah, so they just tap everything. That's fine, whatever. Doesn't matter at all. Unless they have some sort of sweeper. So now the Ancient Tomb is blanked. So they only have 3 mana. Tangle Wires are just fading away. This Sphere is locking them down. So yeah, just random Rat and Elder beatdown is enough to get there. Next game, I do like Dust Bowl. I do like Naturalizes. I do wonder if I care about Engineered Plague, because sometimes they have the combo with the guy. What's the name of the guy? The Fraction Devourer. I'm going to assume they have no graveyard shenanigans. Although I guess Furnace is kind of reasonable in the face of Tangle Wire. Nah, that's fine. It's got a Ravenous Baloth. I feel like I do want all the other cards. Baloth just seems kind of sketchy. I think I'm gonna go with Call of the Herd instead. And Vendetta probably is just going to kill like Metal Workers, but that's a fine thing to kill, I guess. I guess it's Masticore. Vendetta allows to kill through regeneration, which is very nice. So let's cut it smaller. Yeah, I like this. Maybe like Baloth over Greyborn Muse, just like the singleton. Interesting brew that my opponent is packing. Kind of looks very good. I wish I had a discard spell, but besides that, it looks very solid. And we see the power of Grand Coliseum. Like, imagine if this were a Treetop Village, my hand would be so much more awkward. This is why I was saying that I think it's possible that Grand Coliseum is the truth. Still not ready to call it, but it has looked quite decent. And definitely, like, in that matchup, had we had like City of Brass, we would have lost because of ports and Mishra's Helix. So being able to like not get punished, or like choosing to tap for colorless and not taking any pain. Very good upside in this format. When it moves to 4. Oh, that's so much. That's so much mulliganing. I feel quite advantaged with my opponent move to 4. From a deck that kind of like struggles to come back from a mulligan too. Because they already have so much card disadvantage with Tinker and stuff. Oh, that's right, we have this card. This one seems pretty hard for my opponent to beat. Kind of forgot that we had that. Seems strong. Well, type key into Tangle Wire, sure. I feel like that's a situation where I need to destroy the Tangle Wire. Can I afford to take it easy? Can I play through this Tangle Wire? I don't like that it enables Tinker though, so I think I am going to naturalize it right now. Because this is going to be at least like 2 or 3 turns. Oh man, Tangle Wire really feels bad when you're in a move to 4. That's going to be the question. Do I prioritize playing Deed or do I prioritize doing something else? I think I'm going to prioritize getting a Deed into play. Like, I don't understand how my opponent can possibly beat this card. And it's the reason, right? Like, that's why I said in the deck tag, like, this card is just very, very strong right now. I mean, it's always been, right? Jester's Cup. So this card is irrelevant. This card I don't care about any of these cards, I think. I guess Upheaval is the only one I maybe care a little bit about. But honestly, Upheaval is just annoying. Like, it's not even like game winning or anything. I definitely want to split this up. So I think I'll do this. Yeah, this seems decent. Sure. So they took CD, Metalworker, and Jester's Cup. I don't know why they have Jester's Cup in their deck, to be honest. That's a card I do not care about whatsoever. Okay, they play out the CD. Sure. Activate Jester Cup, go ahead. Exile whatever you want. This should not be in my opponent's deck. There's literally nothing that they can exile that I care about at all. And they also, like, they destroy their own City of Traders to do that. Now I think my line is going to be just Call of the Herd. I kind of want to destroy the Rishadan port. Just dust all the way. What did they exile? 2 Hermits and a Veloth. You got it. You have exiled 2 Hermits and the Veloth. So let's dust bowl right now. I don't want my opponent to have access to mana. I think I'm going to just throw away this Grand Coliseum. Now whatever land they play takes care of the City of Traders. They cannot really beat my onboard Pernicious Deed. I'm hitting land drops. We're kind of like winning on every possible axis. Yeah, this is so clean. So I just smother, and now we finally put on the clock. Also, by smothering there, I now make sure that Black Vice is pretty much never going to trigger. Like, I'm so far ahead at this point that I think I'm going to just blow up the City of Traders. Another Metal Worker. That's fine. I could just destroy that. Nice. So let's go blow up the City of Traders. I guess I'm gonna sacrifice Forest. I guess I should have probably sacrificed the Dust Bowl actually. Vendetta, the Metal Worker, play another green source and swing with the token. Next time we get to play a second token. We can draw 5 if we wanted to, which is pretty nice. Black Vice, yeah, you got it. Resolves. Do I just draw 5, just not care, completely disrespect these black buys? I think I'm more interested in just getting the game over with. So swing for 6. I'm not gonna get too cocky. Actually, maybe I should have made another Call of the Herd token there. Just gonna draw 2. Show some respect to the black buys, which probably is not warranted, if I'm being honest. Drew the rest. Yeah, that's pretty good. Tinker out. Oh, 4 and 5 drops with 2 lands in play. Big yikes. I'm just gonna flashback Call of the Herd because this means I have lethal next turn. Super interesting deck by my opponent. Looked very fun too. City of Traders. Alright, so they get to play Masticore. It's a little bit annoying, but actually it's not because they can't really do anything. So I guess I just Dust Bowl, sacrificing one of the Dust Bowls, and then play, no need to take damage here, play an Elder, pass the turn. This Masticore is just gonna eat my opponent's hand, so at any point I draw a rat, and then the Masticore just dies, and my opponent can't actually attack. So just playing a waiting game here, but yeah, it's pretty much unavoidable. They can, oh, they can gamble. I'm just going to crack this guy with my Elder, get some forests, draw a card, just pass the turn. Notably, I couldn't attack there. I mean, I could be attacking and just like throwing stuff away, but I don't know if my opponent's playing something like a bounce spell or whatever, and then maybe I should just be attacking or whatever. I'm just waiting because I drew a Ravenous Rats and I win, so I think it's just too funny that I can just do that. So I guess I have 2 Duresses now, so I can like gamble once, see if they drew a non-creature or non-land. I guess that's also a lethal threat. I guess might as well. Ancient Tomb. Okay. They had a Sphere last turn, so I guess I should have done that then. This next turn, though, I get to activate both 3-drops and send the elephant, so that one is game. Alright, Cabal Therapy. Naming what? Metalworker, Tinker. Duress your Tinker and go. Don't even need to throw away my Treetop Village. This is more fun. Port. Oh man. Now we drew the rats. Cool deck from my opponent. Just like that, we go on to 5-0. This card has been an all-star this entire league. Absolute all-star. What a banger. See you for the last round. On to our last match. This hand, I'm not super stoked about it. I feel like I have to keep it, but like a turn 1 Lackey would be a problem here. I do like that I have a quite strong engine going on, so if I'm playing against any fair deck, I feel like I'm gonna be kind of okay. Basic Forest Go. It's not something you see every day. I guess that means there's an argument for playing Basic Forest instead of if it were Ponza or something like that. In the blind, I would suspect Enchantress. Okay, I guess it's Ponza. We're gonna have to pivot then. Alright, I guess I can't really pivot, so I have to pray the Grand Coliseum there because it's gonna enter tapped later. Yeah, with my Elder, quite strong against the Ponza deck, I'll tell you that much. Mishra's Factory was pitched. Okay, Winter's Grasp. I mean, it's not gonna be a better time to do rest than right now, so Brushland. So notably, they're splashing white. Gonna play Terravor here. Okay, that's definitely a clock. Smother, Wall of Blossoms. Okay, it's a black source. So I think I chomp. I think I just take the champ while I can. My opponent's gonna double port me here. Eventually, I'm gonna find the black source and I'm gonna be able to get rid of this Terror Boy. There we go. Pass the turn. 2 cards in hand, so if it's Wasteland plus Stone Rain, then I'm gonna be in trouble. But otherwise, like this Smother like gets rid of the clock, and now we have a lot of time. Importantly, we got rid of a Naturalize, which is kind of a big deal. Sphere. It is quite annoying. And now we're just gonna Smother right now and play a Forest, I guess, and send the turn back. We're gonna be able to Skeletor's Shrine here, which is nice. Wasteland. Maybe I don't need to yet. I can draw 3 now. So let's play another green source, send the turn back. So now we can draw 2 actually. Definitely want to dodge some more land destruction. Sylvan Library would also be a problem. So here I'm just, doing this because I want to like sandbag the swamp. I feel like only 1 sphere we can beat. Definitely want to dodge some land destruction, but another Terror Boy. Okay, so that's a 6/6. So now we get to draw 3. Or we get to exile 3 of our lands. Makes the Terravor much smaller. It's pretty nice. Play a land and say go. You have a lot of basics here. Shout out to Skeletor's Crying. What a banger of a card. So we just play a Ravenous Bailoff and it's just bigger than my opponent's Terravor. That's pretty funny. Well, here's a Bailoff. Opponent can plow it, but game 4, that also takes a card from their hand, which is nice. And we can use Recurring Nightmare to get it back, which is also pretty nice. We also ended up ahead on that exchange, also nice. There's also the fact that if we ever draw, they just let me untap with everything. That's really interesting. Okay, so let's play Rats. Let's get a card from their hand. Another Source to Plowshares, very nice. And now we get to Recurring Nightmare back the Ravenous Bailout. Or do we want to just draw a card here? I feel like I want a Bailout actually. I wonder why they didn't tap my lands. I'm assuming that this is they're gonna show me now why they didn't tap. Nope, were they just lazy? If they were just lazy, that was kind of punishing. I'm happily trading here. No attacks, huh? They're just letting me do whatever I want. Very interesting. We just play Hermit. I can just go Elder into Recurring Nightmare. Think I like that better. I get to draw 2 cards, get their last card in hand, get some basics. Let's see what the last card is. Another land maybe? Another Terravore, which they didn't deploy. Interesting. What does that even mean that they didn't play the Terravore? Why would you not play the Terravore there? Treetop Village. I'm very surprised by my opponent's lines here. I mean, now we're just gonna go off. I think I'd rather like play some Wall of Blossoms. I want to find a Pernicious Deed, so I just don't get owned by. The only way that I lose here is my opponent somehow they find a way to get Oath of Druids into play. If they get Oath of Druids, then I may be in trouble, but I think I like this. So now we pass the turn, we draw 3 in my opponent's end step. I can probably start attacking. No, actually I'd rather just put my opponent in a little bit of an awkward spot, because now even if they have like a land destruction spell, I can just double block with Ravenous Bailout and Elder and I still trade with the Terravore. It is quite nice that if they do have Oath, it currently doesn't do anything, but I don't want to, like if I play the Range Hermit, then all of a sudden I cannot get behind the Oath, or like under the Oath, I guess I should say. So I do feel like I'm very interested in like getting around that. Draw a card, another Therapy, doesn't really do anything. That's fine because I'm going to be discarding them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Opponent doesn't even bother using Reshad and Port at this time. Let's get Wall of Blossoms, draw a card, Smother. There you go. So now we can start attacking. So now let's get the Rats, Fear. Now we get to start swinging. I'm going to Smother right now, so I don't need to worry about that later. And I don't have to discard the card. And now I get to pitch probably 2 Cabal Therapies. Again, as of right now, Oath also is covered, so that sounds okay with me. Also notably, even if they have Oath, at this point they only have 1 Terravore left, so there's only 1 removal spell that I need to draw, which is pretty funny. So that worked out really well. Dust Bowl is a banger. Withered Wretch, incredibly strong. Naturalized, Tranquil Domain, all seem like decent cards here, and also Vendetta. All of these are cards that I'm interested in. Fairness sounds amazing. Ravenous Rats, as we just saw, they get the job done. Do we just not care about the Range Hermit? Is this the card that I don't care about? Just mopey. Could cut a Bailoff to... Wall of Blossoms is going to do some serious work against all of my opponent's thingies. Elder did some good work that game. Graven Muse also sounds quite strong. Skeleton's Crying, amazing. Do I cut some number of therapies? I think some therapies and some duresses can be cut. It's awkward because they're legitimately good cards. Like they're actually good cards. So it's not like I'm excited to cut them, but honestly, like my entire deck here looks very strong. Maybe Recurring Nightmare I can go down to 1. Obviously Pernicious Deed is once again my best card. As in literally every match that I've played so far. Am I just supposed to cut a land against my opponent's deck? To cut like a Baron more or something? I kind of don't want to cycle it, but I mean cutting lands against the land destruction that just can't be right. Maybe I have too many removals, but I have more removal spells than they have Terravores. All of them are instant speed, so I can use them to blow up creature lands. I guess Vendetta is the worst. I'll just cut both Vendettas. Notably, we still have Pernicious Deed. Maybe let's cut 1 Tranquil Domain. No, but like, no. I think I'd rather have Tranquil Domain than Vendetta. Tranquil Domain answers Oath and also answers the library. So this hand's fantastic. Kind of disgusting, actually. Just borderline gross. If they have turn 1 Sphere into like turn 2 Port you, maybe they can do some stuff. But if they don't, like they're gonna need some very strong hand here. maybe even turn 1 library I'm able to beat. Turn 1 oath, I literally don't care. So they used a bunch of resources to put that oath into play, and now I get to Winter's Grasp. So this seems quite nice. So now turn 2, obviously I'm not gonna play the Wall of Blossoms, but I get to play Phyrexian Furnace, or we can just do that, which is nice. I think I'm just going to play Furnace and get this going. Notably, I can answer the first Terravor. Forest. The best thing they have to do is to attack. I feel like I'm okay with that. Great. Looks like the best thing they have is to attack. So I think this Furnace actually is going to provide me with a ton of value, so I'm going to chill here for a little bit. We had Diabolic Edict. If my opponent attempts to swing, I'm going to use it. Thermokarst. Sure. I'm just gonna exile my own card. Target myself here. And I guess I'm gonna play a Swamp and say go. Again, I cannot really run this Wall of Blossoms into the Oath of Druid, so I need to find first an answer to the Oath. One that respects the removal spell. Is good. There's an answer to the Oath. Okay, so now we just need to find the green source. Sure. I just let this resolve. So this exposes my Dust Bowl to a wasteland. So I think I just let that go. It's a weird thing to do there, but now this blanks my opponent's wastelands and other thingies. If they attack, I'm gonna take 3, and then I'm going to destroy the treetop on end step. Yeah, it just blanks my opponent's land destruction spells. Cannot play that one out, unfortunately. We need to find any land. Would be a great top deck here, preferably a green one. Okay, pass the turn again. Again, my goal is to blank all of my opponent's spells here. That's a fantastic draw. So now we can Cabal Therapy. They play the 1 Winter's Grasp, 1 Thermokarst. So naming either one of them is fine. I think I'm gonna name Oath of Druids though. Terravor is another one to name. Let's name Terravor. Actually, no, I'm gonna name one of the discards. It's 50-50, so I'm gonna name Thermokarst. Ah, got him. I guess all of the above were hits. So Thermokarst is there. Oath of Druids. I'm going to play Ravenous Rats. I'm just going to destroy my opponent's hands. They discarded Oath, and now Flashback Therapy, Sacrificing Rats. I'm gonna name Terravor. Their hand is Source to Plowshares Naturalize. Send the turn back, and I'm just going to Tranquil Domain on end step. Opponent still respecting Diabolic Edict. So that gets rid of that. I'm going to Cabal Therapy, naming Source to Plowshares here, just to take a peek at what they drew. Oh, they drew another source. Oh my god, what a beating. That's pretty unreal. I'm playing the Wall of Blossom first because we actually have ETB tapped lands that we could have drawn. And I guess I'm just gonna let them go now. Because even if they Oath, I can just flashback Cabal Therapy, naming Naturalize. This Wall of Blossoms blocks the Treetop Village very nicely. Phyrexian Furnace, yeah, that's totally fine. Literally no lands in any graveyard, which is pretty funny. Now we untap, play another Wall of Blossoms. That's a nice one. The Wretch, pass the turn. So this blanks the Phyrexian Furnace draw. So if I were my opponent, I would have cycled Phyrexian Furnace in response to this. So yeah. Here I am going to exile my opponent's cards because I may top deck the Phyrexian Furnace later on. So any unused mana should actually exile my opponent's like irrelevant cards. That's a duress. There's just not really any reason to use it yet. So let's go with pass the turn. I'm going to activate Dust Bowl on end step. Again, my goal here is to blank all of my opponent's Thermokarsts, and the way that I'm doing it is by making it so whatever they attempt to use to destroy my land, I could get to trade with one of their lands for value. So I'm just going to exile everything but 1, because I don't want my opponent to be able to cycle. Now we untap. As soon as we find anything that is worth trying to stick, I can use Naturalize. I can take the Naturalize, I mean. Obviously this Cabal Therapy doesn't matter, Terravors don't matter, Oath of Druids probably doesn't matter, because I can exile like a bunch of lands every single turn. What do they have here? Winter's Grasp. Yep, so we're just gonna take this brush land with us on the way out. But I mean, it's my opponent's only way, right? They have to do that. It's not sexy, but they need to do it. I'm gonna get rid of all my lands, so then my mana is not overtaxed later on. Swamp, no reason to hold on to lands. And now this Withered Wretch is going to start doing stuff. My opponent should have taken the the time to cycle the Phyrexian Furnace while they had a chance. Now they're down a card basically, because the Furnace is not doing anything. Okay, so I 8. There's no graveyards anymore. Double the clock. Yes, sir. Definitely into that. So this is now 4-turn clock. The nice thing here is that so many of my opponent's cards don't do anything. So that's the most exciting thing that we have going on. I guess Swords to Plowshares would cut my clock in half, but there isn't much else that matters. Starting to believe that this deck may be a little bit sick. Sure, what are they gonna do now? Double fetch. Okay, so now this is only a 2-turn clock. 4 mana Wrath of God. I'm gonna tell you, I was not expecting that one. That one certainly caught me off guard. You got me good, opponent. Untap. Do rest. I mean, the nice thing is that now we're gonna get to... This is nice. We get to draw like 4 cards. So we're gonna play our land and I'm just gonna pass the turn. So my opponent's hand is Naturalize, Terravore, Wasteland. Okay, so we have full information. So now I'm gonna scrying in response. And let's draw 4 cards. Oh, that's a card. That is most certainly a card. Now we have 2 removal spells. Yeah, we're really cooking now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play out the swamp, pass the turn. Obviously, I'm not playing the treetop into my opponent's wasteland. I need to top like a Swords to Plowshares like this turn. You don't see Wrath of God in these decks very often. I don't think it was like insane or anything. Yeah, my opponent took way too long to cycle that Phyrexian Furnace. Should have done that a while ago. There would have been 1 card deeper into their deck. Now we start drawing 2 cards a turn. Man, this is so strong. We have Tranquil Domain now and Naturalize. Hell yeah, we also have a clock. Oh baby. Do I just play the treetop? I guess at this point we actually actively want my opponent to use their... I'm so far ahead, I'm just gonna Naturalize this Mox right now. Like, we have literally everything covered. So I wanna like make my opponent's mana awkward. Sure, they Wasteland now. This is a mistake. They should have waited until they untap, because there's no reason to not gather more information about seeing what your draw step is before you do that. You may need the mana, right? So that's there. Like, don't even care about this. I'm just gonna untap. I'm going to swing, see if my opponent wants to block. Oh yeah. So I can force them to like... Nah, they're at... I mean, I can just leave them at 2. So let's just... I'm gonna leave them at 2. I guess I made a mistake there. I should have done that on their end step. I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It doesn't matter at all. No reason to expose the deed to the known Naturalize. So yeah, my opponent is messing up their sequencing a little bit there. Sure, got a Terravore, and I have a Smother. So just get that out of the way. Wow, absolutely amazing display. Jesus, 6-0, so clean. Well, there you have it, folks. This is, I want to say, far and away the best rock list I've ever seen. It felt so smooth, and I felt like all of my hands just lined up super well against what my opponents were doing. Of course, we didn't play against the rock's truly bad matchups, stuff like Sly, which probably would need help, and maybe something like Stasis, but it is one of those things where I think that we could figure something out. Like, for those matchups, I'm not sure exactly how I would approach doing so. I would need to spend more time doing it, but all in all, this felt super smooth, and like Rats plus Wall of Blossoms, like this kind of fits the curve so perfectly. Like it means that I'm always playing something to the board on turn 2, and that something is completely disposable, which is very nice because it works out super well with Cabal Therapy, and it also works super well with Pernicious Deed, which is far and away the strongest card this deck has, and I should definitely be playing a 4th copy, probably in the sideboard, but this card was insane. I mean, every match that I played, it was absolutely stellar. The only thing that we would need to look into would be against like Goblins. The Goblins matchup actually felt quite shaky. I feel like I would want to figure out some way of helping in that matchup. I don't know if that would mean doing something like including Fest. I don't know if Plague Spitter is the answer. I think Infest makes more sense to me than Plague Spitter. All in all, this deck felt kind of unreal, and yes, I'm so happy when when I think of something in theory, and I spend all of this time theory crafting, and then when I finally have a chance to give it a shot, it just works. It feels so good, and Grand Coliseum was pretty amazing. It really was absolutely crucial at making sure that my mana worked basically every single time. I don't think I ever had mana issues. and I played against like multiple mana denial decks, like the mono blue deck, and even against Ponza in this very last round. Every single round my mana was just totally fine. Sure, I took a damage here and there, and we even played against multiple ports, which really showed the difference between Grand Coliseum and City of Brass, right? It's one of the things where like we probably have to figure out, okay, how far are we supposed to go? So maybe 5 ETB tap lands is maybe one too many or two too many. We have to figure that out. But I think that 2 Grand Coliseums worked out super well in the shell, and it made the mana so much smoother. The Evermore was also kind of a nice addition. I feel like I cycled it quite often, and I also played it out a bit in a couple of spots. So all in all, the deck felt very strong, and I honestly, except for the Goblins matchup, which really feels like it was really close, and we kind of got away with it a little bit. Every other matchup that we played against the Ponza deck, against the like Stompy, against some medium to very good decks, like the Ponza deck is very strong, and I felt like incredibly far ahead throughout the entire match, like not even the game. Like the entire match just felt so good. Like the mono black Contamination, we just obliterated them. So I feel like this deck has like a very strong basis to start from. So loved the everything about it. Mostly the only thing I would change, as I said, is Pernicious Deed. The top end felt almost like an afterthought. Graveyard Muse was very good. I kind of think maybe we should be playing a second copy, but also Skeleton Shrine was stellar. So I don't know if I want to be like playing maybe 2 Baloth's main and 2 Muse. Maybe Muse should be replacing Hermit. So there's a lot of like things like that to mess around with and to see what works and what doesn't. But this was a really good recurrent nightmare deck. Like I feel like I was like looping rats and walls basically every other game or something like that. This came up a lot, so I feel like 2 nightmares maybe like a solid number. I could see going down to 1, and maybe this is like the change that we want to do, like just play 2 Muse, 1 nightmare. That sounds also pretty reasonable to me. I was very happy with the deck's performance. So things that I would look into would be some way to, I didn't play against Sly notably, and I imagine that matchup's going to be quite rough, so I want to figure out a way to attack the Sly matchup. I definitely want the 4th copy of Pernicious Deed, probably in the sideboard, because when this card is bad, it's pretty bad, so you don't want that many dead cards. But it's just sitting in play. Like we have so many matchups where it just sat in play and it just destroyed my opponent. Like it just didn't allow them to do anything. But I feel like we were attacking on multiple axes. That's why it worked. Regarding something like Replenish and Enchantress, I feel like Enchantress we may actually be okay against. Replenish, probably not so much, and this is obviously why I'm over-indexed in like Furnaces and Withered Wretches, and then of course like Duresses and whatnot. So I would imagine that Replenish would be much more rough. So maybe I should have, if I'm expecting a lot of Replenish, I should have 1 more of these dudes, or like 1 more Furnace or something like that, maybe in Tormod Script, though I'm not a fan of Tormod Script in this kind of deck. But against Enchantress, like we didn't get paired against it, but I feel like we could potentially be in an okay shape because they can actually mess with our mana. So if you can figure out a way to slow them down even a little bit, we don't need to kill them quickly. We can probably just, I feel like it's going to be very unlikely for them to be able to kill us in a single shot. So we can always like Tranquil Domain on combat step or on end step, and then untap and like try to go from there. I'm not sure though. So it's once again one of those things where I will need to play the matchup and like see the back and forth. But I'm much more hopeful that this deck is going to be able to hang against Enchantress than against Replenish. Against Dreadnought, I would assume that we're very favored, but obviously I cannot really say that until we actually play the games. And also there's the tide angle from Dreadnought, but tiding is a lot harder to achieve when you have, when your opponent's like Ravenous Rats in you, like Therapy, Duress, and Recurring Nightmare in you. So I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed it. See you for the next video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and take care, folks. Bye bye, and long live Premodern.